Michigan State takes on Maryland to end the season. A 3-8 Michigan State team looks for their first conference win of the season, going up against a Maryland team that just got absolutely dominated by Michigan. Turns out Maryland will be retaining their head coach. Michigan State does not necessarily know if this will be the last game for Jonathan Smith at the helm. They haven't made any announcement, so we'll truly find out that after this game happens. But this is a matchup between the two teams that are playing bad football, to be completely honest with ourselves. Like, this is a Michigan State team that should have absolutely had at least probably 2 wins more than they do right now. They've lost 8 straight. You could argue that they should have beat Iowa. You could argue that they should have beat Minnesota. This could have been very much a possibility of Michigan State going to a bowl game if they win this game in Detroit. But this is just Michigan State hoping that they get their first conference win of the season. It's been a really long time since Michigan State has not gotten at least one conference win. I believe it's been over like 100+ years since it's been that long. It's been something that Michigan State has had success at least getting a win, and they need to beat a Maryland team that offensively I don't think should really scare MSU very much. I think MSU defensively through 3 quarters has been really good recently. I think Joe Rossi has to have a ton of credit for that. I think Joe Rossi has these guys playing pretty well, and I think you have to start out with a guy like Malcolm Bell. I think Malcolm Bell has really evolved since the start of the season to where he is now. I think he's a guy that you can truly trust in the secondary. The secondary also had an interception last game as well from Malik Spencer. First one in a really long time, so obviously you love to see that if you're an MSU fan. But this is just going to be a game where there's just not a ton of hype going around it. You really have 2 teams that aren't playing well. You have 2 teams, 2 offenses that have struggled putting up points. This is a Maryland team that's averaged 23 points a game. They have their starting quarterback in Malik Washington, which he does have some ability to use his legs. He was actually the leading rusher for Maryland last week. But I don't think Malik Washington throwing the ball is really anything that special, to be completely honest with you. And you're going up against a Maryland team that if you're not playing them in like September, October, like this is a Maryland team that just continues to get worse throughout the season. I think this Maryland team just doesn't have a ton to play for truly at this season. Next year is going to obviously be a big season for Maryland because, again, they're retaining their head coach. They're going to try to build around him, continue to get better every single year. But, like, this is just a Maryland team that's just not very good. I don't really think there's too much more to go into it. This is a Maryland team that is allowing teams to rush for 177 yards per game. I think Michigan State with ETT should be able to run the ball. They were able to even run the ball a little bit against Iowa. It seemed like in the second half they weren't able to run the ball as effectively. I would like to see Michigan State run the ball definitely better in this game. And then this is a defense that is giving up almost 220 yards through the air. You have Alessio Milivojevic probably getting the start again. It sounds like Jonathan Smith said that Aiden Childs could possibly be back in this game. Even if he is, I don't expect him to start or really even play. I wouldn't play him. Alessio has truly been that guy for MSU, and I truly think he needs to continue to be that guy for MSU in this game. I think Christian McCray needs to be involved really early on. I would love to see MSU get the tight ends involved again. I know they said that wasn't necessarily a game plan against Iowa, but this is a Maryland defense that gives up quite a few yards through the air. I'd love to see MSU not only attack it through the air, but also using the run to set up the pass, which is something that under Jonathan Smith, especially during their time at Oregon State, that's something that they were able to do. That's something that they've shown a little bit when they've been good offensively, but it's been a little bit of a while since MSU has been that way. Now, I do think Alessio has performed better than Aiden Childs, especially recently. I do think Alessio needs to be protected much better than what he has been. Alessio has been taking really big hits. He's been really good overall, though, and really standing in the pack and finding his guys. I think Nick Marsh is going to have to be really big for MSU in this game. He has not been very good recently. He has not been a guy that has truly been making a difference in these games. And obviously, like when you've lost 8 straight games, it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to kind of get up for these games. But if you have to say one thing about MSU is that this team throughout this losing streak has continued to get up for every single one of these games, basically outside of UCLA and maybe Michigan a little bit. I think this team truly buys into what Jonathan Smith is saying. I think this is a team that wants to win for Jonathan Smith, and I think honestly Jonathan Smith wants to get a win for this team as well. He knows what a win would do. Now, do I think a win's going to change the trajectory of the program, trajectory of his head coaching position? No, I don't think that's it whatsoever, but if anyone deserves this, these players have been fighting so hard, and there's been really coaching mistakes. There's been reasons why they've lost 2 of these games, and I think a lot of it has to do more with the offense, and I think has to do more with the coaching than the players. I think the offense under Brian Lindgren has definitely taken a step back. I think this is an offense under Alessio that has shown a little bit of flashes here and there. I think this is going to be an offensive performance that Michigan State should be able to perform well. It's going to be inside. It's going to be at Ford Field. They should be able to run the ball effectively. If you allow Alessio to have time, Michigan State should win this game. And MSU is going to be a favorite in this game. They are a favorite right now. Like, MSU should win this game. It should, in my opinion, not even be relatively close. I think having a performance that you come out from the start to finish and actually have a full game performance against a Big Ten team would be nice. Now, again, do I think it's going to change very much anything? No, I don't think it's going to change anything whatsoever. But I think the biggest issue is that offensively, they have had really good first drives and then have really sputtered. Defensively, they've been good for 3 quarters, but again, they kind of wear down a little bit after the 4th because the offense doesn't give the defense enough of a break, and that's when these issues truly come to happen. So I think if you have a full performance from MSU, you should obviously win this game. I think 4th quarter is going to be a big one. Michigan State lost that last week. They need to win a 4th quarter under Jonathan Smith. They've really struggled to do that, and I think this is a real opportunity to do that. But overall, I think this is going to be a game that Michigan State does win. I am actually going to give a score prediction for this game. I think it's going to be like a 27-17 win for MSU. I think this is going to be one of those games that's going to be maybe a little bit closer towards the end. MSU maybe gets a touchdown at the end to truly seal this thing, or maybe Maryland kind of gets a touchdown or a field goal to cut it a little bit. So I can definitely see MSU winning by at least 2 possessions in this game. I think if you're serious and you truly believe in the talent that is there, the little that there is, I think this is going to be a game that you should absolutely win. And if you lose this game, not only would it be a very, very disappointing season, but I don't know what else you can say about the season outside of that. But we'll find out after it happens. I believe MSU will win. We'll find out about Jonathan Smith afterwards. We'll obviously recap it afterwards as well. Liam will be able to join for that one. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Who do you think wins? If you like this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. And make sure to tune in to the recap later next week.